These are the Badlands. Called La Guajira, these baking deserts are home to crime, smuggling, and poverty. I'm on my way to the tiny desert settlement of Atpanasiri. It's in hamlets like this one that the region produces its most beautiful export. The mochila, handcrafted bags made by Wayuu Indians. The bags, used by men and women, are the visual expression of a culture that has thrived for centuries on the northernmost tip of South America.
These are important because it is the cultural legacy we pass on generation to generation. They teach us this when we become women, just as our mothers and our grandmothers and all of our ancestors were taught.
These women don't speak Spanish, only their native Wayuu. But the language of their designs has spread across Colombia and the world. The bags reflect a complicated cosmovision brought to life. The bright, distinctive designs are inspired by the women's dreams.
The designs come from our dreams. We dream of a drawing and we put that on the bags. We are inspired by our dreams.
These dreams have now become fashionable across the world. Out here on the streets of Riohacha, La Guajira's largest city, Wayuu women sell their bags to the trickle of tourists. If the women sell directly to a tourist, they can earn around $30 for each bag. But if they sell in bulk to the retailers, the bags can go for as little as $10. The real money, however, is made abroad. These same mochilas can be sold for as much as $150. Among the Wayuu women, they say they've heard reports of companies copying the designs and making the bags in other countries.
This is bad. They take these bags from here. We feel frustrated that here the bags sell for $10 and sell for a lot more abroad. This is what we live off. This is how we survive. With these we eat and we don't have anything else.
While the bags are popular in the world's cosmopolitans, from Paris to New York, where they come from is much more brutal. Little of those dollars are seen here where the bags are made. In fact, the Wayuu live in crushing, fatal poverty. In hamlets like Atpanasiri, the bags are not only keeping a culture alive, they're often the only source of income. Knitting the cotton, the bags take 3 days to make. La Guajira is one of Colombia's poorest regions. Bordering Venezuela, the zone is a hotspot of smuggling Colombian cocaine and Venezuelan gasoline. La Guajira is famed for its corruption. One former governor is in jail on charges of murder and drug trafficking. And those who suffer most are the Wayuu. The settlement's only well doesn't even have clean water. The well has been contaminated and now has a strange taste. Locals say that animals have died in the well, but with no other supply of water, they fish the bodies out and keep drinking.
It tastes very salty. You can tell that that water is just not healthy for children or anybody to be drinking. But this is their only source of water. This is what they have to drink every day.
We have gone many times to ask for the well to be cleaned or for the local government to help us find and build a new well, but they never hear anything back.
The weakest fall first, the old and the very young. A mix of malnutrition and hunger has killed a number of children. This boy is 4 years old, but his legs are so weak he can't yet walk. Instead, he just drags himself around.
This is one of the children who is sick in this town. You can tell on his face there's a strange coloration. He also has a fever. They don't know what he has, but they're sure it has something to do with the water.
Mary Luz URIANA takes us to see her 3 children in the graveyard. She buried her 3 dead boys in one grave because she couldn't afford more than one coffin. She fears her remaining child is sick and could also die. The local government says that 3,000 children have died over the past 6 years from a mix of malnutrition and a lack of medical services.
It can sometimes feel like there's 2 Colombias. One Colombia's booming, the economy's growing. But this is the other Colombia, the forgotten Colombia. And here, in 2014, children are still dying of malnutrition.
The central government in Bogotá is starting to take notice. The offices of the Central Ombudsman is investigating just what is going on with the Wayuu in La Guajira. One report has calculated how many children are suffering from malnutrition.
There are 37,000 children with problems of malnutrition.
All of Colombia's institutions have let the Wayuu down, from corrupt local leaders to a central government that has a minimal presence in the zone.
I think there's a shared blame for many actors, from the most basic, the local leaders in the region, from way back to the governors of La Guajira, and without a doubt the national government. All have their share of the responsibility.
He fears the region is set to suffer even more. A drought is likely to intensify later this year, killing farm stock and ravaging the few crops that can grow there.
The most worrying fact is that we believe the worst is yet to come. There is a situation of chronic poverty and malnutrition, but in terms of the drought, the worst will come at the end of the year and at the beginning of 2015, which will exacerbate all the problems we're now seeing.
With such hardships, the bags have become even more important in maintaining a culture in the desert. Because of the bags, women are the power within Wayuu society. With little to grow here, the women and what they make are the main money makers. Even in the traditional dances, the women take the lead.
The women play a very big role in our society because they make all the handcrafts which bring in the money.
Shortly after this interview, the chief died after taking a fall. In his final days, he worried for the future of his Wayuu people. The culture that has held the Wayuu together for so long is under threat. A sense among many that things are changing too quickly.
We fear our culture is under threat, but some things have changed. They don't use the traditional shoes, they don't use donkeys to move around, and many don't use the traditional clothes, but we are maintaining our tradition in some ways.
Long after the bag has stopped being the latest fashion accessory, in the desert, the women will continue to sew.
Wayuu bags are a hot seller at online retailers as well. A well-known clothing company sells the Wayuu mochila bag for $175. But the company website states the item is so popular, it is sold out.
Coming up.
Teachers' salaries in South America.
On average, a teacher earns between $900 and $1,000 per month. That gets translated into something in the range between $5 and $6 per hour. This is how much teachers earn in Latin America.
America's Next.